Hey guys, Az here. Welcome back to my channel if you're a returning subscriber, and a big fat welcome if you're new around here. In today's video, I've finally got my hands on the new platform tool, and we are remaking bunk beds. You might remember from a wee while ago, you might have actually come to my channel because of bunk beds in the first place. But I've done a few different variations of a bunk bed, one of which isn't actually possible anymore, which is a real big fat bummer, but this gives me hope. It means that it's a little bit more doable than it was before, and it doesn't look quite so crazy because there's no lighting weird things that happen with the foundation tool like in my last bunk bed videos and my last tutorial. So that is super exciting, that I can finally use platforms to make bunk beds. And the great thing about the platforms as well is that you can bring the top bed itself, more over the bottom bed, so it genuinely looks like they're stacked on top of each other rather than, you know, like half stacked on top. It's not ideal, not as good to have them like halfway over, but it's what was usable, so that's what we had to deal with. So yeah, I've done two videos within this one, two bunk beds I should say. The first one is this one here, it's what you're watching at the minute, and I did this one using the second highest wall height, I believe, like that middle one, and then the second bunk bed that you will see in but a moment is actually an apartment one, and I'm really excited about the apartment one because up until this update that has just been released, it has been impossible to even do bunk beds in apartments, so I'm really excited about it. It was a bit of a mish to get there, but I'm really stoked with how both bedrooms have turned out. This one's definitely my favorite. I don't know why I always naturally gravitate to like pale pastel bedrooms, especially for kids. I suppose it's just a style that I really love, so it's easy peasy to do for me to actually style, if you know what I mean. But yeah. A great thing about these bunk beds as well, I forgot to mention, is it is very base game doable. You definitely have to use different things, like for example the slats that I'm placing aren't actually usable or an item in the base game, but there's other things that you can sub out for it. If you guys want another tutorial, because I did a tutorial last time I made a bunk bed video, then let me know in the comments down below because I'd love to do that for you guys if you want. But yeah, the two bunk beds in this bedroom and the dressers themselves are all usable. I haven't checked the mirrors, sorry, but I would assume, oh, I don't know, I wouldn't have a clue, sorry. Yeah, I really like how it turned out though. I definitely had a lot of fun playing with a few different build styles, I suppose. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out overall. Oh gosh, guys, the weirdest thing happened to me last night. Well, not weirdest, but it was kind of embarrassing. I'm always embarrassing myself and I'm always telling you guys about it. It's quite entertaining actually. But what happened was, it was my birthday yesterday, and I had a really cool day, but I went out for dinner with two of my mates, and I had literally had like one drink and I needed to go to the bathroom. So I went to walk back through the restaurant, but my shoe like slipped on something and I ended up absolutely toppling over flat on my face type thing in the middle of the restaurant. And I hate Aucklanders for this exact reason, is the fact that everybody in the restaurant just turned and looked at me. They just looked at me and they were just, you know, with utter disdain and disinterest and just snobby grossness on their faces. I'd caught like one guy on my way down as well, like I accidentally bumped him like in the side with my hand as I like fell because I grabbed onto his chair. And so I like instantly like turned around and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And he was the only person in the entire restaurant. I was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Like, are you all right? And I was like, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. And he was like, it's okay. Like, are you all right? And I was like, I'm sorry. And then just walked away. And I was mortified, like walking back from the bathroom. I was so lucky my girlfriends didn't even notice. They were just like, blah blah blah. I'm like not worried at all. But yeah, I landed flat on my face on my birthday and that was a lot of fun. Not I mean, at least it wasn't another rubber duck incident, I suppose. And if you're not familiar with the rubber duck incident, go and watch my base game only desert cliff house. That explains the duck story. It's not a duck, actual rubber duck. It's a big fat duck, but we call it a rubber duck for the sake of the younger viewers. And it's not even mine. It's not my rubber duck. My God, it's terrifying. Moving swiftly on. If you want that story, go watch the other video. Yeah, but I really should stop telling it. It's not ideal. Anyways, one more thing I want to talk to you guys about. Do you have anything that you want built in The Sims for like a specific family or something like that? My sister recently sent me a request and it got me thinking, maybe it would be cool to see if you guys had anything in particular that you wanted to see built in the game. So if you do, please let me know. I am thinking of my next build being, because I know it was initially supposed to be a base game one, but then the update came out. But no, my next build is likely to be in a family apartment, one that I can actually do more bunk beds in, so that should be the go. It could be a lot of fun. The only problem I can see that I'm going to run into is the fact that you still can't make platforms part of the room, if you know what I mean. I'm not sure if it's actually possible or doable. Somebody let me know if I'm like completely incompetent, but I found that when I put a platform down, it wasn't part of the room itself, which was kind of a pain in the butt. So when it comes to like saving a room, for example, saving this bunk bed room and uploading it to the gallery, I kind of can't, because the platform itself is the bunk bed. So, you know, you can't really upload this particular room to the big gallery, you know, titled bunk beds with no bunk beds though. So yeah, it's kind of weird that I can't do that, and it's going to make uploading an apartment build with bunk beds to the gallery quite difficult, but I guess it is what it is. Anyway, this is the end of the first part of the video. Part 2 is pretty much doing more or less the same thing, but with a lot less space and with a bunk bed underneath in this particular apartment here. I think this is actually the first ever apartment that I actually used in City Living, to be honest, because it was like the cheapest one. And to be honest, that really shows. This particular room as well, the bunk bed itself, I kind of messed around with it for a wee while. I wasn't really sure what direction I wanted to go with this one. Whereas with the first bunk bed that I did, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew what sort of cool tricks and tips that I wanted to sort of have a go at doing. So yeah, but whereas this one, I was kind of like, do I do another bed? Do I do a desk? I was very indecisive throughout the whole thing. And there was a lot of playtesting involved. This time I just used a child as my playtester because the roof was like that much shorter. It meant that it was going to be a bit harder to get an adult sim up onto the platform, and I haven't actually checked, so I don't know if it's actually going to be doable in terms of if adults can use the bunk beds, but I figured kids are more likely to generally anyway, so that is that. I discovered that I definitely need you need 4 squares long as well. It doesn't work with just the 3 squares long and maybe overlapping that ladder a bit, because the sim doesn't like to try and get up there. So I did end up moving it, and the room itself ends up just being ridiculously narrow. I'm not totally thrilled with how narrow it is, but I think overall it has turned out like a lot better than I thought it would. Yeah, normally there's not a window in this bedroom either, but I use the tool mod to put one in because it looks better than not having one, and otherwise that whole room is just like a Harry Potter cupboard, and I was not having that. I was like, not at all gonna be a thing, thank you very much. But yeah, as you can see, I place tested a lot as I went. I pretty much did after every new major placement. I just wanted to make sure my sim could still actually use the equipment that I was putting in. There was a point where I started putting shelves against the foundation or the platform, and my sim hated that. She was like, can't use the bed, that's not a thing, thanks. So that didn't work. Had to change tactics quite quickly, and instead I went with the wood plank from the debug menu. I think it ended up looking nicer anyway, so I was quite happy with that change of mind. But yeah, really there's not much else to this build, you guys. I'm gonna try and upload something to the gallery, whether it's just the bunk bed that I did the very beginning of the video, put in the gallery as a lot, which is a pain in the butt, but that's probably what it'll end up being, just so that the platform itself is still there. So, you know, sorry, it is what it is. That's what we can do at the minute, so that's what I'll do for you guys at the very least. And then if you want to save it as a room separately and add a platform, that's pretty easy to do as well. But yeah. Anyways, that is it from me for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. It would mean a lot to me, and I'd love to add you to the fan band. So yeah, I hope you guys are having a lovely day. I hope you're looking out for one another, and I hope you're staying safe. Yeah, have a good one, guys, and I will talk to you in the next one. Okay, bye. Please stay a bit longer. You're making me stronger, making me stronger. Stay a bit longer. You're making me stronger, making me stronger. It's been a roller coaster, but you stayed. And now I'm taking over for the day. Cause I can be what you wanna be. And I can feel but you lie for me. Take me to a place I'm calling for. Open up the doors I'm knocking on. I'm losing control. Show you, baby, your hands all over me. No, I'll never let go. 'Cause now I'm falling for love. Now I'm falling for love. Now I'm falling for you. Cool. Now I'm falling for love. Now. Cause you and I will never fade. And I could be what you wanna be. And I can feel but you lie for me. Take me to